the latest South Park episode has caused chaos on the internet, and this time it's not just because of its jokes about artificial intelligence. Fans across social media have been left both stunned and disturbed after witnessing one of the most outrageous scenes the show has aired in years, a bizarrely intimate moment between Donald Trump and Trey-Vance. Trey Parker and Matt Stone once again prove that South Park is never afraid to push boundaries, no matter how uncomfortable or absurd the result might be. The episode, titled Sora Not Sorry, started out like a typical South Park adventure, filled with dark humor, twisted plot lines, and social commentary. The storyline cleverly tied together two different worlds, one set in the familiar town of South Park, and the other inside the animated White House. On one side, Butters, his classmates, and Detective Harris were struggling with a deepfake crisis that spiraled out of control, while on the other, Trump and Vance were dealing with the consequences of Trump's bizarre connection to Satan and their shared responsibility for a supposed demon baby. At first, the White House scenes seemed like just another layer of South Park's political satire. But what came next took things to a shocking new level. The moment Trump and Vance decided to take care of business, from the hot tub to the bedroom, the tone shifted from absurd comedy to pure madness. In typical South Park fashion, the creators didn't hold back. The scene unfolded in the most exaggerated and uncomfortable way possible, all while Foreigner's classic song, I Want to Know What Love Is, played in the background. It didn't take long for fans to react, and the internet erupted almost immediately after the episode aired. Many longtime viewers admitted they had seen some wild things on South Park before, but this moment was on another level entirely. One formerly Twitter user, summed up the reaction perfectly to "Thanks for the nightmares I'm gonna have tonight, South Park." Another fan couldn't handle it, posting a meme of Homer Simpson pouring bleach into his eyes with the caption, gee, I can't unsee that. Some fans, however, couldn't stop laughing at how far the creators were willing to go. A popular comment under a screenshot of the hot tub scene read, "That was hilarious. Trump and Vance upstaged the puppet sex scene in Team America." For those familiar with Team America World Police, which Parker and Stone also created, that's a big statement, especially considering the infamous marionette love scene in that film became one of the most talked about moments in adult animation. Still, not everyone found the joke funny. Several fans admitted they were shocked the show dared to air something so bold, even for South Park. One fan wrote, "I knew South Park could get wild, but this is straight up trauma fuel." Others speculated that Trey Parker and Matt Stone might be getting some angry calls from network executives, or even political figures themselves, after portraying Trump and Vance in such a bizarre light. But that's exactly what Parker and Stone thrive on: controversial shock and humor that walks the fine line between satire and insanity. Over the years, South Park has tackled everything from religion to celebrity culture to social issues, often using real-world figures to highlight just how absurd modern life has become. In this latest season, however, the show has leaned more heavily into political storylines, with the MAGA movement and Trump's chaotic personality serving as recurring themes. Interestingly, this episode's release came only days after the New York Times published a rare interview with Parker and Stone, in which they reflected on how South Park has evolved alongside America's political landscape. Parker admitted that the shift wasn't intentional, saying, "It's not that we got all political. It's that politics became pop culture." His comment hits especially hard when watching episodes like Sora Not Sorry, where political figures are not just discussed but turned into full-blown cartoon characters existing in a surreal, exaggerated version of reality. Matt Stone also added an important point during the interview. He mentioned how new taboos have emerged in recent years, particularly when it comes to discussing or making fun of certain political figures. "Trey and I are attracted to that like flies to honey," Stone said. "Oh, that's where the taboo is, over there. Okay, then we're over there." This line perfectly sums up why South Park remains so unpredictable, and why episodes like this one still manage to surprise even longtime fans. The creators' willingness to go where no one else will is part of what makes the show so iconic and so controversial. Even after 28 seasons, Parker and Stone are still finding new ways to make people laugh, cringe, and argue about what's appropriate on television. With this Trump-Vance bedroom scene, they've managed to create a moment that feels destined to go down in South Park history as one of its most talked about ever. While the episode's AI subplot was also fascinating, most fans couldn't get past the image of Trump and Vance in that hot tub. The deepfake storyline, which focused on Butters, and the chaos surrounding digital manipulation might have otherwise dominated the online conversation. But it was completely overshadowed by the White House antics, proving once again that South Park knows exactly how to grab attention and dominate headlines. Many viewers pointed out how cleverly the episode balanced two major themes, the danger of AI and the absurdity of modern politics, while still delivering that outrageous twist. One fan tweeted, "Only South Park could turn AI panic and political chaos into a love scene that makes me question my life choices." Others joked that the writers must have a secret competition to see who can create the most disturbing scene each season. Some critics even praised the show for its courage to mock political power without fear. Despite the awkwardness of the Trump-Vance sequence, a few fans called it genius satire that reflects how politics has become more about personality than policy. One fan explained that scene was gross, that's the point. It shows how ridiculous everything has gotten. It's not the first time South Park has landed in hot water for its political humor. From its early days mocking Al Gore and George Bush to its more recent depictions of Trump and other figures, the series has always courted controversy. But it's also maintained a loyal audience that appreciates its honesty, no matter how crude or offensive the jokes might be. This episode seems to continue that legacy, mixing political commentary with outrageous visual humor in a way that no other show dares to try. As reactions continued to pour in, fans debated whether Parker and Stone had gone too far this time. Some said the show crossed the line, while others argued that pushing boundaries is exactly what South Park is supposed to do. After all, the series has never aimed to please everyone. It's about holding up a mirror to society, even if that reflection makes people uncomfortable. Looking back at South Park's history, it's clear that each shocking moment has served a purpose. The humor might be extreme, but it always points to something deeper, whether it's the dangers of unchecked technology, blind political loyalty, or the chaos of modern media culture. The Trump-Vance scene may have left viewers horrified, but it also reminded everyone that South Park is still the boldest voice in satire, unafraid to make people laugh and squirm at the same time. For fans who've followed the show for decades, this latest moment feels like a classic example of Parker and Stone's signature chaos. They understand that in today's world, satire must be bigger and bolder to make an impact. Whether it's mocking AI, exposing media hypocrisy, or making fun of politicians in absurd ways, South Park continues to stay relevant by going to extremes. The response to Sora Not Sorry shows just how powerful the show still is. Love it or hate it, people are talking, and that's exactly what Parker and Stone want. They've built a career on sparking outrage and laughter in equal measure, and they clearly have no plans to slow down. With every shocking moment, South Park proves that even after nearly 3 decades, it can still surprise audiences. The Trump-Vance bedroom scene may go down as one of the most infamous moments in the show's history, but it's also a reminder that South Park remains fearless, unapologetic, and deeply relevant in the modern age.